volume and surface area. So in this section, you're going to be asked to find either volume or surface area plus some additional parts of the formula. So for example, with this first problem, we're asked to find L, which is the slant height. The slant height goes from a side of the base, which in this case is the circle, and it goes diagonally to the vertex, that point at the top. So this is our cone, and the slant height of this is going to be the 14 inches. The surface area is going to be this formula up here where we only have that one base. So the base itself is a circle, and I see that it's got a radius of 6. So when I find the area of the base, capital B, that's going to be the pi r squared. So I'm going to use 3.14 times the radius, which is 6, squared. So the area of the base will be 113.04. For the perimeter of the base, we use the circumference of the circle. The circumference of a circle goes all the way around the circle. It measures that distance, which is 2 pi r. So we're going to multiply 2 times 3.14 times the radius again, which was 6. So this will give us a circumference of 37.68. So now that we've got the area of the base, we've got the slant height, we've got the perimeter, we can find the surface area. So the surface area is going to be taking the area of the base, which is 113.04, plus the perimeter, 37, or LP, sorry, plus the slant height, which is 14, times the perimeter, 37.68, and then just dividing that part by 2. When you enter that into your calculator, you should be getting 376.8. And then since area is squared, we add a little exponent of 2. So the only times you're going to add exponents is for surface area or for volume or for areas of base. All right, so for the next one, we're looking at finding the perimeter of the base, so P, and the surface area of this figure. This is a pyramid, a square pyramid. Square pyramid. And I can tell it's a square pyramid because I've got this pointy end at the top, which is the vertex. The base is that shape down there, which is a square. And so in all of these cases, I need to find the area of the base, so I might as well start there. I've got 3 and 3. So the area of this figure is going to be 3 times 3, or 3 squared, which is 9. So that's the area of my base. The slant height, again, going diagonally down the side here, is our 11. So this is our slant height. And so to find the perimeter of the base, I have to add up all 4 sides. So they're all 3, so 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. So the perimeter of the base, well, I don't need to do that. We've got the little space. It's going to be 12 yards. So it's just yards because it's just perimeter. The surface area is going to be using the same formula we did last time. So we need the area of the base, we need the slant height, and we need the perimeter. So the surface area is going to be taking the 9, which is the area of the base, plus the slant height, which was 11, times the perimeter, 12, divided by 2. And so this will be giving us 75 yards squared for our surface area. For this figure, we've got a rectangular prism. And with this one, actually, you can use any of the surfaces as a base. Because when you've got prisms, we're looking at the top and the bottom, which are identical to each other. And again, a trick that I use is I use tissue paper. I mean, I don't really need to anymore because I've gotten pretty good at visualizing this. But I'm trying to see that this fits perfectly in the same position. So that one does. I could also, though, use the 2 sides. So this side on the left, when I move that over, should be perfectly, perfectly matching with that side over there. And it does. I can also do the front and the back. These are clues that we've got pairs of bases. So I see that when I move this to the back, it fits perfectly in there just as it did up here. But typically with the rectangular prisms, I tend to use just the bottom as the base. So I'm going to stick to that. So I've got 14 and 6. So I already know that the area of the base is going to be multiplying 14 times 6, the area of a rectangle. And when I multiply that out, I get 84. So my area of the base is 84. Now I'm asked for both surface area and volume. So I've got two bases. So this time I'm going to be using these two formulas over here. So the surface area is going to be 2 times the area of the base. So far I've got the area of the base, which is 84. So I'm doing 2 times 84. Plus the perimeter of the base. Well, the perimeter of the base is adding up all 4 sides. So if this is a rectangle, both sides are 6 on this end and 14 on that end. So 6 plus 14 plus 6 plus 14. So that's going to give me 30, no, 60. Just double checking my key. Nope, 40. I can do it. So the perimeter is going to be 40. And then so the last bit is the height of the prism itself. Well, once you've identified the base, the height is that perpendicular distance. And look at that, we've got a little right angle down there saying that it's going straight up by 8. So that is the capital H, so 8. So when we type this into our calculators, we're going to be getting 488. And my units are centimeters, area is squared. Volume, same idea. The formula for a volume is area of the base, so 84 times the height, 8. And so 84 times 8 gives you 672 centimeters cubed. For a cylinder, so this is our cylinder, we have a circle on the top and a circle on the bottom. They're identical to each other. So my base, the shape of my base is going to be a circle with a radius of 8. So to find the area of the base, the area of the circle, we're doing pi r squared for the area of a circle. So the r is going to be 8 squared, and I'm using 3.14. So 3.14 times 8 squared. That's what I'm typing into my calculator. So the area of the base is 200.96. I also need the perimeter of the base because I'm also being asked for the surface area. So the perimeter of the base is going to be 2 pi r, the circumference of the circle. So 2 times 3.14 times the radius again, which is 8. So the perimeter of the base is going to be 50.24. Now the surface area is 2 times the area of the base because we've got 2 of them. So 200.96 plus the perimeter, 50.24. And the distance between my two bases, the top and the bottom, is 12. So it's not always the top and the bottom. We're going to see an example of that next. So when we multiply this all out, we get 1004.8 inches squared. Volume is area of the base times height, 200.96 times the height, which is 12. And so the volume would be 2,411.52 inches cubed. This is a triangular prism. It's very tempting for students to think that it's a rectangular because of that rectangle at the bottom. But when we trace or shade in, or whichever method we're using, the rectangle, there's no other rectangle that looks identical that these lines will fit into. So this will not be the base. So when we do that same idea with the triangle in the front and the triangle in the back, and I've got tissue paper that you can use, there you go. They fit perfectly with each other. So that's a clue that these are the bases. So I've got myself a base that is in the shape of a triangle. When I transfer all that information, I've got a height of 4. So the front here is telling me that I've got a height of 4, a base of 6. And again, I'm being asked for surface area and volume. Now I also see, well, I think this, oh geez, I'm so sorry, you guys. I think this 5 feet down here is meant to be for this little line here. And so that's showing us that it's an isosceles triangle. I don't know why that shifted down there, though. That looks a little funky. Your test is absolutely going to be clear. I'm going to make sure of it. But we need those values because that's going to show us the perimeter. So to find the area of the base, the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. They follow the right angle. Base and height always follow a right angle. So 6 times 4 divided by 2 is an area base of 12. And then the perimeter of the base is adding up all the sides. So 6 plus 5 plus 5 means the perimeter is going to be 16. the height, and this is where a lot of students make that common mistake, which makes a lot of sense. We typically think of height as going up and down, but if I were to rotate this figure and draw it like this, we can see that the height has now become the 12 because it's just flipped upside down. So you need to be sure that you're finding the correct height, and that's looking at how far apart your bases are. So our bases were in the front and the back, which means that the distance between them is the 12. So capital H is the 12. So I've got enough information to find the surface area. I've got two bases. So the surface area is taking the 2 times the area of the base, which is 12, plus the perimeter of the base, which was 16, times the height, again 12. So it's not always the case that these match, so you do have to be cautious of that. When we type this in, we get 216. And then my units are feet squared. The volume is taking the area of the base times the height, so 12 times 12, which is 144. And that is feet cubed. And the last, or not last one we got, sorry, I got my alarm going off. The next one is a rectangular prism, and this is just asking for volume. So for the rectangular, or not prism, it's a pyramid. For the rectangular pyramid, we've got the base, which is a rectangle, and it's got 13 by 7. So the area of the base is multiplying 13 times 7. So that's 91. I don't need the perimeter because I'm not looking for the surface area at all. I'm just being asked for the height and the volume. So the height of the pyramid goes from the center of the base, forms a right angle to the vertex. So that would be the 12. So 12 is our capital H. So we got 12 millimeters. The volume is just taking the area of the base, which is 91, and multiplying by the height, 12. But since it's a pyramid, we only want 1/3 of that. So we're going to divide it by 3. So this gives us 364. Nope, no points. 364. And our units are millimeters and volume is cubed. The cone, same idea. We're just asked for the volume and the area of the base. So I see that since it's a cone, the area of the base would be a circle with a radius of 5. So area of a circle is pi r squared. And all of these formulas are given to you on the test. You just have to know which one is for which. So area of a circle always involves pi. And so 3.14 times 5 squared is 78.5. I don't need the perimeter. I just need the area of the base and the height. So I've got the 78.5. The area of the base is an area, so squared. Capital B is always squared for the units. Volume is area of the base times height. Well, going from the center of my base to the vertex is a height of 13. So when I calculate the volume, I'm taking area of the base 78.5 times capital H. It's not a cylinder, so we have to divide it by 3. And that's when we get 340.17 millimeters cubed for volume. This is our triangular pyramid. So area of the base, we're going to need that because we're finding the volume. So I'm looking at myself with a triangle. I've got an 11, 11, and 12. And then this height here is 9.22. So when I find the area of this triangle, I'm taking the base and height, which form the right angles. And that's 12 times 9.22. But that's a rectangle, so we got to divide it by 2. So the area of this triangle is 55.32. I don't need the perimeter, I just need the capital H, so that's going from the center, forming a right angle to the vertex at the top. So that's 10 feet. So the volume will be multiplying the area of the base, 55.32, times the height of the pyramid, but it's only 1/3 of that, because otherwise it'd be a triangular prism. And so that gets us 184.4 feet cubed.